Devotion, bravery, sacrifice. Thursday, May 21st, 2026, Bungie announces live service content updates for Destiny 2 will no longer be made after June 9th, 2026. Now, this is not a whole doom and gloom type of video, but, well, there's going to be a little bit of doom and gloom. But I really wanted to make this video for over a year now. When the final shape launched, I started work on a personal retrospective with my time in the Destiny universe. I ultimately scrapped it because it was not turning out the way that I wanted it to turn out. With this most recent announcement, I thought it felt fitting to pick this project back up once again and figure out what I wanted to talk about. You see, my time with Bungie as a studio really does go back to my childhood. I spent formative years playing Halo with my brother. I have vivid memories of playing through those games with my brother, his friends, our cousins, and late summer nights that happened because of it. And then Bungie split away from Microsoft and Halo, so that was the end of an era. Then the summer of 2014 rolls around, and I'm just a dumb kid playing on his Xbox 360, looking up guides for Borderlands 2. The YouTube channel I was watching at that time put out a video about a brand new game, Destiny. I hear about the alpha that has already passed, which the guy who played it said it was amazing, and then to hear that they were releasing a beta later that summer. So what do I do as a dumb little 13-year-old? Figure out how to sign up for the beta on my Xbox 360, then wait my little heart out. I knew nothing of what would come next other than, hey, it's the same people who made Halo, I like Halo, this might be cool. What happened next proceeded to forge some of the greatest memories that I've made in the last 12 years. Now for me, Destiny is and always will be something special, since there's nothing quite like it out there. I know the massive amounts of layoffs, important personnel leaving, changing the whole story last minute, and all the other countless controversies the game has been through has been really tough on players. I remember the ups and downs of playing. I remember taking extended breaks from the game because what was available just didn't sit right with me, or there was something else I wanted to play at the time. In the end, Destiny was a home that I could return to and have a good time with the friends that I made there. Speaking of friends, I distinctly remember the time that I was able to reconnect with long-lost friends because of a PvP match. It was an experience to talk and play with them once again, which snowballed into getting more people to play the game. I believe that there's no other experience for myself other than being able to hop onto the game, get a call with my buddies, and then go run some hard content like a raid together. Those memories of triumphs and defeats will stick with me forever. I haven't touched the game in about a year since finishing the final shape and blasting through the episodes since it was all content I'd already paid for. I could just tell things just didn't feel the same. The story that was built for the last 10 years was over. There's no need to keep going forward. No new stakes to feel invested in at all. It felt complete. Then Edge of Fate was announced, and I personally could have not cared less. Edge of Fate was something that I could not feel invested in. When Destiny 1 came to a close after Rise of Iron and its Age of Triumph, Destiny 2 was already on the horizon and gave the story a new way to be invested in. This time around with Edge of Fate, it didn't feel the same. Then for them to shoe in another expansion of Star Wars collaboration, it just made everything feel cheap, with no real investment. It just didn't feel like Destiny. Now to hear that the game will no longer be receiving any more updates past June 9th really has not come to a surprise for me. Edge of Fate performing extremely subpar, and then Marathon pulling a ton of resources only to realistically not perform very well just makes everything sad. Will Bungie ever recover from the hole that they dug themselves into? I highly doubt it. Will we ever get a Destiny 3? I don't know. What I do know is that I personally will remember the very fond times that I had with Destiny and the friends that I made along the way. If a Destiny 3 were to ever come out, I hope Bungie has learned the lessons that it's been given to them over the past 12 years. But who am I kidding? With their executive track record, it's more likely to fall at the finish line rather than make it to the end. Alright, enough with the doom and gloom. Time for my thoughts as a whole. I think it would be best starting from the very start and then working my way forward. Like I said before, I didn't know anything about Destiny until I saw a YouTube video about it. I got excited, signed up for the beta, played the beta like crazy, and just fell in love with how things felt. I proceeded to do an immediate pre-order through GameStop, and then just simply wait for the game to come out. The nice thing about Destiny 2 is the memories on the character selection. And so you can see the first completion of Destiny's campaign where you defeated the Heart of the Black Garden. For me, it was on September 13th, 2014, by myself, since I didn't play through D1 Vanilla with a fire team. I just played by myself. And then proceeds to go through all your great accomplishments in Destiny 1. Next up, it's Vault of Glass, the very first raid in Destiny. It's a little sad to me to see that the fire team that I played with, when completing, most of them no longer play or haven't connected their Bungie accounts. At least I assume, since they have ellipses next to the character they played as. What I do remember from the time with VOG is that Forever 29 was a thing, and attempting it day one was a whole lot of fun. Granted, not knowing anything made for a real challenge, and during the attempt I got pulled away for an extended period of time. One of my closest friends was in the game, one of the Titans on the completion screen there, and he kept going after I had to leave. When I got back, he was still going with someone who knew what they were doing, even on day one. And Xbox Live Party Chat did not have all the fun functionalities it does now. I was an annoying ass kid who kept asking if they beat it until I eventually got kicked from the chat. Now, the first time completion for VOG happened a lot later for me, as I would go on to take my time, continue to level up, and reach that Forever 29, and become comfortable listening to others players for once in my life. Which all coalesces to mean that I cleared D1 Vault of Glass on October 11th, 2014. Really gonna see a major repeating pattern here with campaigns completed by myself and then following a raid at a later date. So Dark Below, the very first DLC to come out, was something. It existed, but it was new, so I loved it. With the Dark Below DLC came Crota's End, which honestly was a joke of a raid with all the issues. Ethernet cord pull. Which really made a lot of fun. Since I was playing Hunter, I would go invisible for 90% of the raids, so I could pull people through without having any need to do a full wipe. Lamp launch, bridge fly, being the sword bearer, you name it, I was most likely the one to do it, as no one else wanted. Hell, this raid was 2-man by myself and the Titan. That was my buddy, again. So basically, if there's a Titan in any raid, it was most likely him completing it with me. What's funny about Crota's End is that was the first and only raid I personally soloed, along with getting the achievement of completing a raid flawlessly, meaning no one died during the entire raid. After the Dark Below, we got House of Wolves, was the next DLC that came, but it didn't have no new raid. Only Prison of Elders and Trials of Osiris. Again, I complete the campaign by myself, then work to complete the Prison of Elders with my buddy. But the issue with the Prison Elders was Skolos being solar burn and blowing you up with his very own solar damage weapon, making for a very difficult boss encounter. Alas, I got it done with my buddy and a random player we found who knew what they were doing. I almost forgot we had the gun that was required for everyone. G-Horn, Galarhorn, whatever you want to call it. My buddy got his when it was sold in like week 2 of the game being out. I got mine from a drop in Nightfall. Just kind of crazy. While the PvE side of things were a lot of fun, we had way more fun with Trials of Osiris and winning 7 games without losing one. Again, my buddy and the guy from Prison Elders went on to do this together. It was a lot of fun because it was difficult to achieve in the early days, and the early days was the last word in Thorn Meadow with a sniper rifle. I myself, personally, was a last word purist with the sniper rifle, and man, it was dirty. I would make it to the lighthouse every weekend with these 2 guys, having a blast the entire time. As the game progressed into multiple years, did not last very long, but I would still make it to the lighthouse pretty often. Something that I have yet to achieve in Destiny 2 still. With year 2 of Destiny rolling around, in my opinion, the greatest expansion to ever drop came, The Taken King. I switched from Xbox 360 to Xbox One and played so much Destiny waiting on the release. Sure, every piece of gear that I earned for the last year meant nothing, but the stakes, the story, the cutscenes, the new loot, and the new subclasses were so epic to me. Then I took a break from the game for a couple of weeks, only to come back and beat the raid. To me, King's Fall is peak, and my second favorite raid of the entire series. But after the Taken King, the content drop really set in bad, since there was nothing between Taken King and Rise of Iron. So I took more extended breaks, and we're taking my time just to do whatever I wanted. Still played the game fairly regularly, but wasn't devoted every single day playing it. Then Rise of Iron dropped in 2016, which was another peak expansion, but really did feel like filler DLC to buy Bungie time for Destiny 2, which is most likely the case. With Rise of Iron came Wrath of the Machine, which is such a perfect raid that I genuinely miss it and hope I can get a crew together one day and play through it once again. The Outbreak Prime quest was so much fun, and I think this is where I really started to follow more Destiny content creators so I could complete it. Then, during this time, we once again hit another content drought, which ended because of Age of Triumph and the announcement of Destiny 2. The original Destiny 2 dropped in September of 2017, and while it was certainly a release of a game, it was a game. Having everything be fresh and new was nice, but the complete change from what people were used to for the last few years was certainly change no one was ready for. With Destiny 2 and all the major changes to the gameplay systems that people understood for such a long time, what could really save this game this time around was the question. Looking back on it now, Red War campaign was one of the greatest campaigns because it said it was a coherent story and it did a lot of heavy lifting to set up plot points that we were able to close off years later. Also, some of the quotes to come out of it were absolute bangers, like the interaction between the speaker and Gaul, and then Gaul's first interaction with us. But then finally, with base Destiny 2, we got the raid that was shipped with the game, Leviathan. We finally got our Cabal themed raid that everyone's been asking for since our introduction to them in Destiny 1. And with how odd the game felt with double primaries, it truly did feel off. I remember spending a lot of time in the raid just by myself running around trying to figure out things, since you could do that with the Underbelly, and eventually I got a raid team together. I was able to complete it, and while it was fun, it really felt off compared to previous raids that I had done. Can't really describe it, but as a raid, it was good, but nowhere near King's Fall or Wrath. Unfortunately, this time, my original fire team really fell apart, and we grew distant with one another. This time, I think, was the first extended break I took from Destiny 2, since it was between launch and Curse of Osiris, the very first low point for Destiny 2. I think largely this was because of 2 tokens and a blue. We were all told that the main public event, that was the focal point of the DLC, was the most rewarding. But then when it got shown off, 2 world tokens and a blue gear drop was something that became a meme for the entire Destiny community. I did not play for most of the time with Curse of Osiris being out. I really only squeaked in at the end because of Warmind was on the way. So I decided to blast through, get caught up, so I was ready for Warmind when it dropped. I nearly forgot that this DLC, we got a raid layer instead of a full-on raid, which I think a lot of the community questioned at the time, and safe to say, I most certainly did. Hell, I didn't even complete it till way later. Since Curse of Osiris was rather lackluster, what we got with Warmind was crazy. We again got another raid layer this time around, but with some gusto, so it was a little bit better. But we also technically got the very first 9 or 12 man activity. I can't really remember how many people fit into a patrol space, but it was Escalation Protocol. Escalation Protocol was so much fun in the loot chase that it gave people. It gave them a drive to play the game once again, to challenge themselves, to do something hard. Because let's be honest, raid layers really sucked, being really only like 2 encounters long. Then, come to find out that the raid layer that came with Warmind was an actual challenge for people to play. So everybody was writing such high notes, and then a content drought once again set in. Nothing in between Warmind and then the next DLC. During the content drought, like I said, there was nothing. Thought maybe a new expansion would come. This was really just waiting to see what was going on and just keep playing the game. But then it dropped. The official reveal for Destiny 2's first expansion, Forsaken. The hype for this was insane. And while we were all waiting, I was able to make a new fire team, which we completed all the raid layers and Leviathan while we were waiting for Forsaken to come out. We just kept going, just to see what we could do, get things going. And then in September, Forsaken was released, and it was some of the greatest memories that I could have made in that time that I have with my friends. The content that followed for this year is what set up the expansion and seasonal model that would be Destiny as we know it. I'm really gonna lump this whole year into one, since I really only played Forsaken and none of the following seasons because I didn't want to. I took extended breaks from the game, didn't touch it for a long time, and this time multiple raids released, and while I did end up watching those races, I didn't complete them, so rest in peace, Scourge of the Past and Crown of Sorrow. What I did play in this time was the main campaign, which honestly goes up there with Taken King, as it had all the stakes and the payoff that we desperately needed. Hell, even all the loot got refreshed, and on top of that we got major gameplay changes that realistically make the game better. Last Wish came with the expansion as well, and honestly, the peak raid of all of Destiny, and taking the longest day one completion with 18 whole hours. While this year Destiny was very special to me, the shift to the seasonal model really did kill a lot of the drive for me to keep playing. I shifted away from Xbox and to more of my PC, but crossplay and cross saves didn't exist, so what could I really do? And I didn't want to buy the game again on PC just to play it all over again, so I just would wait and play other games, and then one day maybe I'll go back to my Xbox and play Destiny again. Then Bungie split from Activision, enabled cross-save and cross-play, made Destiny free to play on PC, and put that bitch on Steam. Also, they dropped the next expansion with Shadowkeep in the next 4 seasons. I played Shadowkeep, and safe to say it's one of the expansions of all time. And once again, with how the season model came to be, it was just not in the cards for me to sink a ton of time into it. I again would take extended breaks from the game until the next expansion was near, and I would play a lot, but the FOMO was crazy, and not knowing the whole picture did cause issues for me personally. And this time I, like I said, made my switch over to PC, and I once again lost my fire team. And, well, I was alone, pretty much just by myself playing and doing what I could, which was not a whole lot. And with Garden of Salvation coming with Shadowkeep, I didn't get to complete the raid until way later. Actually tried a few years. Being a Divinity run LFG team. Crazy. Well, in this time, for the next couple of years, I would have friends pick up and drop the game, and I'd only really be the one that would stay consistent, but I couldn't blame them, since the next DLC to come out after Shadowkeep was Beyond Light, and with Beyond Light came probably the biggest controversy Destiny has faced, the Destiny Content Vault, which just made everything worse. I didn't really get to play many dungeons or raids until like Beyond Light or maybe Witch Queen. I don't know. But I really didn't get to do much, but it only came around because, like I said earlier, I ran into old friends in a PvP match and we were able to connect with one another again. It was a lot of fun. It's led to the birth of my clan, Fireteam Funky, and a lot of people stay consistent with me playing the game, being able to do raids on a regular basis and have time to run dungeons and do in-game content that I've missed for so long. Made me feel a little whole again, to reach this and be able to do stuff. Then after a few good years, we got Final Shape. Totally skipping over Witch Queen and Lightfall here, but Lightfall was a nothing burger of a DLC, a filler of a DLC. It was bad. And Witch Queen, while it was great, yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I had people to play stuff, did stuff, had fun. And then we stayed good, stayed consistent, did the raids, attempted day 1 raids, but we beat our heads against the wall for 8 hours, so it didn't really work out too well. But yeah, after a few good years, Final Shape really did come out. The whole Final Shape expansion really felt like a love letter to the community that has stuck around for 10 years to get answers for questions that we've been asking since the beginning, way back in 2014. I personally really liked where it ended and figured that the whole episode was just going to type some loose ends and that's it. Time for a new game. The story that was built for 10 years is over, and now it's time to move on or see what a Destiny 3 could look like. I was content, I was happy. But things didn't end. Come to find out, Edge of Fate and Renegades got announced and Destiny 2 is continuing. Not a Destiny 3, but Destiny 2. Upon hearing the news for new saga for the story, I questioned why continue Destiny 2 when it ended the Light and Dark story in the perfect spot. To me, it would make more sense to start up a Destiny 3 with a brand new story to hook players into. But no, that was not the direction that they wanted to take things. My initial reaction was maybe it could be good, but really I was not expecting anything to come out of the expansion. And plus, with Renegades being such a shoehorn for Star Wars, to me it felt disingenuous to the Destiny universe to have literal Star Wars, not even simple references, just straight up Star Wars in the game now. So I decided that before the next expansion comes out, I'll bum rush all the content I paid for the Final Shape, since I knew it'd be gone forever and I would not play Destiny anymore because I didn't want to support something that I felt was going in the wrong direction. Voted with my wallet, as so many people love to say. Now at the end of service, I decided to pick it back up once again. Having played through everything with the last expansion, I could go on about my critiques of it all for ages, but in a nutshell, in my eyes, if you put Renegades before Edge of Fate and not have a shoehorn to Star Wars, it would have given us an interesting hook with an interesting villain where we'd have gone and seek out answers. But that's just my thoughts on last stuff. But hey, what do I know? I only play a game. I'm no storyteller, and I'm certainly no game developer. I'm just a guy speaking his mind. While I love this universe, and I wish we get a Destiny 3, I know that I will take my good memories that I formed from the last 12 years with this game and this franchise and universe, and I will hold them dearly. So, this is my love letter to the game. Thank you, Bungie, for the friends and memories I made along the way. I wish nothing but the best, and I hope that one day we will see a Destiny 3. But in the meantime, Paradacia Arastra.
You're my favorite. Don't ever forget that.
Guardian. There you are.
It's definitely healing, but we've still got a lot of work to do. Surviving witness forces, clashes with the Lucent Brood.
So much change. We've been fighting for so long. And now we've won.
I thought it would feel different.
Well, maybe because we haven't celebrated it yet. Guardian, Ghost, you're just in time. Tell them Cade wouldn't let a little work get in the way of having a good time.
You're right. For now, our task is appreciating this moment.
And after that,
we'll face the future when it comes.
It's quiet tonight. Peaceful. For centuries, that's been my purpose. To keep this city and see it at peace. Iron rusts. Shields crack. You bend to your purpose. You contort to carry it. And forget that you were upright before. I forgot I could look beyond my own feet. Beyond one step at a time. Duty bound and bent me. But it made me. If I set that burden down, I no longer exist. Do you understand? I am, right now. My burden made me, but it didn't make me lonely. Sophia, Hakim, Cade, Amanda, Taj. Every loss, every friend etched across my heart. Akara, you. Every guardian whose trust I commanded. And that remains. In the absence of duty, that is what makes me. Thank you for walking with me all these years, for carrying this burden with me. You make me proud. I have only one life left, Guardian. I am afraid. But I continue. I live.
Zavala, Guardian, what's...
It's time, Ikora. Before you and the Guardian, I formally renounce my title and post. Ikora, the Vanguard is yours. There is no one else I would want to take up this burden.
I've known since Kepler. 3 called me Commander. A mistake, a confusion of time. It was always going to be like this, wasn't it?
You must say yes, Ikora. Or it doesn't happen.
I told you, I already have.
It's a nice evening. And there is much to do. But join me. As friends, not colleagues. For a little while before I go.
Nothing ever stays the same, does it? What do you think is in our future?
That's for us to decide. Together.